Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, one unlikely book signing event at a time. My name is Tom Taylor.
My name is Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher St. Gangolphus, patron saint of shoemakers and unhappily married husbands. Porter. Yeah, so you can't make this stuff up. Patron saint of unhappily married husbands.
And I am Ryan DiGiorgi of Magic Tavern and Jackbox Games.
Woo!
Welcome, Ryan.
Yay.
Hey, nice to be back, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah, you're a threefer.
Yeah.
I can't tell you honestly how honored I am to have been on for at least once for every movie. And also, I always feel like I get a really cool minute. I'm really excited about this minute.
Oh, good. Yeah, you witnessed the opening of the Ark.
Yeah.
You got trapped with bugs and spikes and stuff in the Temple of Doom.
I think there's a lot of comparisons between Bugs and Spikes and this minute, honestly.
Yeah. We're going to find out how. In minute 71. And minute 71 begins with Adolf Hitler, of all people, working his way through the crowd, signing books, and it ends with pictures of Henry Jones being passed out at a Berlin blimp port, I guess. I don't know what you call that.
So this Hitler thing is, I still keep thinking about this, like this being Indy's one chance to do away with Hitler. But the fact, I've been thinking, like the fact that those marriage statistics from 1941 were in Henry's diary makes me think that maybe somebody came back in time to kill Hitler, and that's why he's got these futuristic marriage statistics. He's like, hey, look at these in a couple of years, and it's going to blow your mind. You'll see I'm really in the future.
Oh, do you think it's somebody from like 1941 or whatever that was from?
No, I think he's from like 2030.
Oh, okay.
But I'm worried that he's the guy that Indy beat up for his costume.
Oh.
Like that was the guy that was going to kill Hitler.
Oh,
and then Indy beat him up and took his uniform.
Oh,
That's how he had such access.
Oh, it sucks. That's really
God,
frustrating.
that's crazy.
he just wasn't as charismatic as Indy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say it. I am completely bewildered by minute 71. Because Indiana Jones comes face to face with Adolf Hitler. Now, just let that sink in for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the next one, he meets Dracula.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be a negative narwhal here, but what is the point of this scene in the movie? Like, is it suspense or tension, or is it like comedic? Like, oh my, that just happened.
I think it's all of that, and I think it works beautifully. I know I'm going to be in the minority here.
No, I agree. Actually, we talked when on Temple of Doom when Evan and I were on about like how that movie's comedy doesn't feel well placed. It feels like goofy, and sort of there doesn't feel like there's a lot of stakes. And I think this is a good example of a more correct approach where you really do think there's something could go horribly wrong when he suddenly turns around and Hitler's there. And it's a big stakes moment, and then to punctuate that with a joke, it works, and you sort of release the stakes, and it's funny. And like I feel like that's a better execution of comedy with this character than just a big death situation that everybody knows he's going to live through.
Yeah, I think it's good too. I'm going to surprise everybody. I like the Hitler business.
Wow.
I mean, it's obviously silly, but it's good. It works,
and it's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's wearing a clown nose.
Yeah.
I think what sells it for me is his actual signature. He just writes in very careful, like 5th grade handwriting, Adolf Hitler. And it's just like so like clear and silly.
Not Führer or anything. It's just like, It's me, Steve Hitler.
Oh, that Hitler.
Hold that thought, because I looked up Adolf Hitler's signature, and it looks absolutely nothing like this. And so then I'm wondering, is this guy an imposter?
Wait a minute, this isn't the real Hitler at all.
Is this? Yeah, he's another archaeologist who's trying to get his book back, and he like beat up Hitler and took his uniform, and now he's that's why he's signing this crazy like school kid signature.
What if this entire crowd is people who have beaten other people up for their clothes?
They're all there to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, Pete, you said, you mentioned previously, would Hitler have actually descended down into the, hoi polloi here, just the masses, and made himself so vulnerable like this? I don't know. I thought he was kind of famously paranoid.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
1938, he wasn't. No one was getting close to him like this. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of what
early
I
on
thought.
he would, but at this point, everything was very, very carefully staged. And he would make plans, and then he would, they would publish his like Hitler's going to be going to these places today, and then he would go to completely different places, and he would take different routes.
Right.
Like he was so paranoid, he never wanted anybody to know where he was or get close to him.
Yeah,
So maybe this isn't. This is an imposter.
maybe.
It could be a body double.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, if I now let's all get in our sleeping bags. Okay, it's one of the we're all in our sleeping bags. Pull your little bag up under your chin. Now, if I told you that Indiana Jones is going to come face to face with Adolf Hitler, would you expect this to be the result?
Definitely not. Which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
it does, I see that where you're going. It does give you that sort of thing of like, oh, I wish I'd gotten to see the movie where he actually does fight Hitler. But
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I would want to see. Like that sounds so. It does sound like Indiana Jones meets Dracula
Yeah.
or something. Like
Yeah.
like if it was an actual serious thing, you'd be like, well, what am I watching? This is weird. This is
Oh,
kinda
yeah,
too
yeah.
heavy. I
Sure.
don't get this.
Although if he fights Hitler, it kind of turns into Iron Sky, I think too. Like I think it just becomes a crazy,
Yeah.
like wacky.
that's true.
Like, and if at least if he's fighting him directly, like if he's fighting henchmen around Hitler, I think that might work. But if he's fighting Hitler directly, that would just be
Like the end
nuts.
of Doom where Hitler's in a big robot suit.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Although now I'm back around again. I want to see that.
Now when
yeah, that might be kind
well,
of
it's shocking because I think we'd all say certainly in our sleeping bags we'd be like, no, Indiana Jones, if he ever came face to face with Hitler, no, not that guy. He's gonna like shiv him and then punch him, pick him up, and throw him off the balcony of some big everywhere, and he's gonna fall 1,000
Yeah.
feet, and then he's gonna get eaten by
Whip
sharks.
his mustache off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what. And then you're like, here's Indiana Jones, and there he is, and there's the whole thing. And what's fascinating, I mean, really fascinating, is I have absolutely no idea what Indy's countenance is at second 22.
It's weird. He stands up like he's going to salute. Like
Oh,
he sounds
yes!
like it looks almost like he's.
Yeah.
Is he going to salute there, or is he just kind of straightening himself up to look taller?
Well, no,
and more intimidating.
check this out. Like, yeah, he straightens up his body and his face, right, for Hitler, and he's either playing the role of a respectful, venerating Nazi soldier, like who is honored to have his copy of Mein Kampf, signed by the author, like, and he doesn't want to be discovered. Or he's like, this is it. It's over. That's the Grail Diary, and I'm Indiana Jones, Ark Stealer.
Yeah.
My soul is prepared. Do what you will. Like,
Yeah.
I watched this many, many times, and at first I thought he was sort of just trying to blend in and be like a respectful soldier. Like, oh my God, he can't know. Let me just get out of here and be deferential. And then at other times I'm like, no. He thinks he's been caught and found out, and this is it. This is over. And he's like, yep, it's me. It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you surprised that there's not, like, he doesn't have some little wisecrack here that Hitler would only get as he's walking away and kind of be, oh, why you?
Right. Wait a
Throws his
minute.
hat on the ground and
Why
stomps on it.
did that Nazi soldier have a Scottish accent?
Yeah. Why do you think there were tapestries here in Berlin?
I was gonna say, to be fair, he hasn't quite been caught. He more just completely hands the diary to Hitler, which I think is the funniest part. Like, it's the most important thing in the world, and he just sort of bumblingly holds it out to the most evil man in the world.
Well,
Yeah.
which I even thought, like, more so as I watched this, that he thought he had been captured and caught, and this was the end of the line for Indiana Jones. When right after he hands him the diary and Hitler signs it, like, Indy lets out a smirk of relief.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting there. He's like, oh my God, I didn't think it was gonna go this way. You got to be kidding me.
Well, I remember as a kid, like I don't remember a lot about watching this for the first time, but I do remember being very surprised because I thought Hitler was going to immediately chuck it into the fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Because it is a book burning, right?
Yeah.
Well, so what is Hitler's? So I assume that he's like signing copies of Mein Kampf or something. I mean, that's what he's signing, right? I mean, I'm reading too much into it. Pardon the pun. But that's actually. Why would? That's what Hitler would sign, right? I guess.
I just thought maybe it was like having an autograph book.
Yeah.
And you got anybody you meet.
Oh, yeah.
But also,
That's true.
It's weird that he opens it and doesn't see like, oh, there's a lot of crazy ramblings about the Holy Grail I'm looking for in here. Oh, well, just sign under this picture that someone drew of the Grail.
Yeah,
I'm nuts
yeah.
on the subject too.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh,
nuts
yeah,
on
we
the
should
subject.
talk sometime.
Good luck, Adolf Hitler.
Have a great summer, Adolf Hitler.
Math was a blast. Adolf
To a
Hitler.
great kid I met last year. But it says some weird stuff. Like it says Villa of Blasphemies. And it says, it is possible to see behind the story of, and then something's behind the little marker, echoes of a mystery religion in which a sacred vessel plays an important part.
Whoa.
And he'd have
Weird.
to like see all this stuff in English in this map and think, this is weird. Unless he's just
Yeah.
not paying attention.
Well, I
Right.
like.
It would.
He does that a lot on his
You would think it would catch his eye that it's English.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
like
Yeah.
what you said there. Maybe it's just an autograph book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most
Yeah.
likely thing. Like that's what he assumes anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Hitler.
You know what's amazing is they very specifically like they don't have Indy salute or Sieg Heil or any of that.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, okay, that would be the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. That would just be like he stiffens up and he's respectful or deferential or he's super scared, but there's none of that. Like, no matter what, I'm not going to salute this dude. That's crazy.
No, you can't
Couldn't
put that in a
stomach
movie.
that.
Yeah. No.
Although isn't that kind of nuts? Wouldn't that be like? You think Hitler would put up with that? With somebody not Sieg Heiling and stuff?
Yeah, and well, I don't know if Hitler wouldn't have done anything right then, but it certainly, like Himmler or somebody like up,
Yeah.
one of the higher, army guys or somebody would have like immediately pulled him out and. Well, actually, that happens. So there's a deleted scene here.
Oh, really?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So there are a few of these coming up in the next couple minutes, but a Nazi officer comes up to Indy and yells at him for interrupting the procession. And so, like in Raiders, Indy knocks him out and steals his outfit.
He's addicted to this.
You're kidding
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And so when you'll see, that's where he gets the outfit that he's wearing in the next scene.
I kind of.
oh, really?
Oh,
That
you're
coat?
kidding.
That's hysterical.
No
my God.
way.
Well, that ruins my only note for the next minute.
I was gonna say this is like starting to turn into Beverly Hills Cop, where he just like goes into the hotel or goes into the country club
Yeah.
and is like, "I'm the pool cleaner."
Yeah.
He can't help himself. It's lucky that he keeps knocking out people who are his exact measurements.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he maybe, like, before I read about that deleted scene, I thought maybe he just took Elsa's coat.
Sure.
I wondered that too. It looks very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. I want like Himmler or somebody to be like try to demote him. He's like, you can't demote me. I quit. I'm Indiana Jones. See ya, sucker. And he just takes off.
Well, unfortunately, his motorcycle's like 10 feet away. You can just jump on it
Yeah.
and ride off.
Yeah, it'd be like one of those tote peel outs.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just thinking that.
But then speaking of, we then see Indy and his dad pulling up in the motorcycle in front of the Berlin airport, which is actually right here in San Francisco.
Oh.
If
Oh,
you-
wow.
If you've ever been to Treasure Island, that's the administration building. It's a beautiful, beautiful Art Deco building.
Inconvenient place for the Berlin airport.
It is a little bit, yeah. This is cool though. The way they film this is cool. It's mostly a matte painting, like the cars and the banners and the radio tower above the place are all matte painting, but then the building itself is really there.
Oh.
That's cool because it sort of has the same look as the China Clipper establishing shot from Raiders. It kind of it's got the same kind of feel. I mean, it's it's kind of very locked down, establishing shot, but it has that kind of there's something matty going on. That's cool. And actually, wait, I have an amazing question for like an instant before that.
Oh yeah.
We get a wipe going
Yeah.
to this. Is this the only or the first wipe we've seen in an Indiana Jones movie.
It does feel a little bit weird. It's more of a Star Wars thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Or a Happy Days thing.
or a Happy Days thing. They pick up Chuck at the airport. What was the one that we had a few minutes back that was the street sign to the book burning?
Yeah. Well, that was just like it just faded from one to the other.
That was a fade. Okay. Well, you guys went to film
Yeah.
school or whatever it was. I don't know, wiper feed.
It's okay.
I had a question for you, Pete,
We're all
though,
friends here.
wiping back a little bit.
Oh, okay.
The Nazi banners read, is it Deutschland Erwache?
Erwache, like wake up Germany.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Germany Wake Up, which I
Yeah.
thought was fascinating to have on display if Hitler runs into the guy who steals the Ark of the Covenant. Germany Wake Up. It's like, right.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Were those, Pete, we talked about this, were those period correct or the real deal, the standards?
I think so. I haven't checked them out in great detail, but like if you watch those Nuremberg rallies, like in Triumph for the Will and stuff, those are like they have standards that are almost exactly like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of Triumph for the Will, there was also going to be a female camera person like filming all of this that got cut.
Oh.
And that was going to be Leni Riefenstahl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I had a question about Admiral Ozzel as Hitler. We talked a lot about him with Kevin Marr, and he was noting that I'm blanking on his name. Who's the actor who plays Ozzel and Hitler?
Michael Sheard.
Yeah, that he played Hitler a bunch of times. That he was that almost became his thing. Like he was Nazis and Hitler
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But does he look that much like Hitler?
No, he doesn't look at all like him. That's weird.
No, he does a good,
Yeah.
serious face, though.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Very stony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hitler was very kind of doughy.
That's
Like, he
true.
just-
Yeah.
And this, he
looks better than
really
Hitler.
waxy here. He looks kind of like a wax
Yeah.
Yeah.
figure of Hitler.
He seems a lot taller, or just sort of has a larger
Yeah.
stature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give him a lot of presence there.
Yeah. Hitler was doughy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Hitler was gross. I wasn't into Hitler. I wasn't buying what he was selling.
All right, I'll be the one to say it.
Yeah, there. Who wants to fight me?
I like this shot inside the Zeppelin airport here because I get that propaganda was huge, but did they have that many banners? Like it's like at a certain point it's
Oh,
like
no,
I
yeah,
get
yeah.
it. Swastika.
They
Like,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, they totally did though. Like they would
Really?
like in Berlin, like streets would be covered with them. Like every house would have one hanging from the window.
Wow, because that is it's just there's no time to recover from the first
Yeah.
one until then you've seen the second one.
they wallpaper the place with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I almost
Yeah.
forgot I was in Nazi Germany. Thank goodness for that banner.
But that was one of the hallmarks of fascism is they would try to overwhelm you with these like Olympics, kind of symbols everywhere, and they would try to like bring back this mythical feeling that you're a
That makes
small,
sense.
tiny person, and the government is this authoritarian, massive thing that controls everything.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So are people handing out like APBs of Henry Jones
Yeah.
here at the
Yeah.
at the Zepp
Yeah.
port, the airport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I assume.
Unless they're handing out a ticket because they parked their motorcycle right in front of the front door, like in the loading zone.
Huh.
Can anybody read what that says? Because it does. They're handing them out. They're handing them out to people.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's a basically a wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Although I read somewhere that the stamp on it is actually like a work permit stamp from the 1980s in Leipzig or something. Like they just
wow.
found a German stamp and like, oh, this will look official.
That's funny. I wonder why it's only Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, did people not have a picture of Indiana Jones? You would think he'd be famous, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Henry, they must have taken pictures when they took him captive in the castle or something.
Clearly,
Yeah.
if you look at that picture, he's clearly been taken captive. He looks like he's having a great time.
Right.
Well, so who
This is my
knows
good
that he's
side.
in Berlin?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Elsa might have surmised.
Oh.
That,
That's what I'm wondering. So does sometimes I just throw the darts out there, and every once in a while one lands.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Ryan was like, "That's a good point."
That's a great point.
I'm always so afraid. I'm like, you
must be
didn't
smart."
see that scene where they're like, Indiana Jones is in Berlin. Let's go get him. No, is it he? So does that mean that Elsa alerted the authorities?
It's maybe maybe they just know that they're no longer in German control, so they must be somewhere, and maybe they're just sort of.
But so. I mean, is this going on
Yeah.
at airports everywhere?
Yeah,
in
maybe.
the vicinity. That's what I'm saying.
Like they escaped that castle. They
Yeah.
know they're on the.
They
run
know they're on the
somewhere.
run somewhere,
So they're kind
so-
of canvassing.
Except
Europe.
Vogel's here in Berlin. He's here at the
Yeah.
airport.
That's true. They find them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Although he may have been going
yeah.
to Berlin anyway, maybe.
But he's here, and there's another deleted scene we'll get to next minute. He's actually here in the terminal, too.
Well, so Elsa said, basically, she said a few minutes ago, all I have to do is scream or print up a bunch of wanted posters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is
Probably took
that
that
what she
picture.
did after this moment?
yeah,
Yeah.
we were wondering. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
That's a great question. I have no idea. Like, so is she now trying to stop? I guess she's trying to stop the Joneses because at the very least they have the diary.
Yeah.
Is she ever worried that they're going to get killed?
I think she would be a little sad if that happened, but she would move
Yeah.
on pretty quickly.
Although I
I
think she wants them alive. Like, I think she realizes she needs their help.
Yeah, I like the idea that she's trying to get the diary back through them. That would make sense. And that's why she
Yeah.
puts out the APB.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I forget if we said anything about this. Like Indy goes all the way back to Berlin to get it, and he manages to get it, which we also didn't say. I don't think that's kind of nuts that he actually just very easily found Elsa and just grabbed the diary off her. But is there a moment where she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, there must be something in that diary"? Because up until now they thought it was useless because all they wanted from it was the map, which wasn't in there. And now Indy's come all the way back to get it, so maybe that clued her in. Like, oh, I think we need this diary that he just took off me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something
right.
in there.
Yeah.
The excuse that he gives her is my father didn't want it incinerated.
Right.
And you're like, well,
Yeah.
your father's slated to be incinerated, so it's not really going to matter. You guys are supposed to be dead here already. It's not really going to matter if you want the diary back here. So
I love that there are three guys, one of whom is Sean Connery, reading the newspaper like in that spy manner. And one guy's got a German paper and one guy's got an Italian paper, and they've got it up over their face like that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they resisted the temptation to have the paper also include a picture of Sean Connery.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wanted and he puts it down in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like an airplane, like a picture of a guy handing out the picture of Sean Connery. Yeah. Search is on at Blimport.
you bring up a good point. Like they escaped. They didn't have Indy mutter some joke or silly something or under his breath. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why I said, I'm just bewildered here. I didn't say the scene was bad. It's just I don't know how to feel at all. It's just it's like serious and kind of almost arresting or shocking. You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to put Hitler in a movie that's not about Hitler.
Yeah,
and know
exactly.
how to
That's kind of
handle
what
it
I'm
or how to
saying.
take
And you're
it,
like,
I
and then
guess.
there's Indiana, Indiana
Like, he could
Jones.
be a total goof, or he could just,
I guess because we're kind of talking about like, did Indy have a responsibility to do more than just meet Hitler and have his autograph signed? But maybe if we presume that Hitler is after the Grail for immortality, because Hitler is after the Grail, right? It's not just what's his face, right? Is Hitler after it too?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. It's hard. There's, as I said several minutes ago, there's way too many people after this damn Grail.
Right.
There's like 7 people who want it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we could do if you give the excuse of, oh, okay, well, Indy's plan is keeping immortality out of Hitler's hands, and therefore he's doing one better than if he just punched him. So, like, it's okay. Don't worry. He's playing the long game. Like, maybe that's sort of what we're supposed to think.
Yeah. Like, what could he actually achieve here?
Right. If he punches him, he's just going to get captured, and the thing is going to be taken off of him.
He could have like shot him. He could have, he bullwhipped his mustache off, then shot him,
Yeah.
and then fed him to the sharks. And
Yeah.
Well, I've got a question now. All of a sudden, because Henry makes a big deal of Donovan not being a patriot, but is Indy proving that he's not a patriot by not calling up Porkins and saying, "Hey, Hitler and all these bad guys are looking for this Holy Grail. Maybe you guys want to get in on this too."
Oh, that's a good point.
wow, that's a great point.
Because he's basically saying, "I'm just going to take on the entire Nazi army myself."
Yeah. Where's his backup?
Yeah, why didn't he? Where's his Donovan-like trajectory thing?
Yeah.
Which you film guys talk about. No, whereas like Donovan's working, he wants the Grail, but yeah, he's also working with the government, the Nazi government, and so God, that's great, crazy, great question. I think you get the impression that Indy just kind of like in all these movies, he just gets swept away and swept along. And well, there wouldn't be time to call Porkins, but of course there's time to do a little Venice.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I mean, Marcus could have called Porkins. Anybody could have called Porkins.
Yeah. Marcus called Porkins while I Venice.
There's sort of an undercurrent from like the first movie of Indy not really trusting the government, which does make it funny that he's like, "You're not a patriot." Although I guess his idea of being a patriot is not necessarily being aligned with the government. It's like going for the values that he thinks that, whatever. But I think it's mostly just papering over the fact that they want to keep it an Indiana Jones
for
movie.
themselves. Yeah.
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 Do you think that, like in Indy's pocket or wherever the diary is after the scene, do you think there's like suddenly a humming sound and the Adolf Hitler gets burned away off of the page?
The rats start freaking out.
Yeah.
I love when you do that sound. And, one other sound I hear, by the way, Jim O'Kane has been screaming for 13 minutes straight. I should point out, since we have some aviation people coming on next week, there's a blimp and a Zeppelin are different things. And these are Zeppelins that they're going on to. A Zeppelin has a metal frame, like a rigid metal frame. And a blimp is just like a balloon.
Yeah, but you know what? Blimp port is very fun to say.
No, I'm with you. I just wanted to let Jim feel a little better.
Well, it's funny you say that, Peter, because I actually looked this up, and I have I have airships, dirigibles, zeppelins, and blimps. What's the difference? A dirigible is any lighter than aircraft that is powered and steerable, as opposed to free floating like a balloon. Dirigibles include rigid airships like the Hindenburg, semi-rigid airships like the Zeppelin, and blimps like the Goodyear blimp.
I thought you were going to say semi-rigid ships like the Hindenburg after it crashed.
Too
soon?
It's not rigid anymore.
It says a blimp is technically a pressure airship. It's powered, steerable, lighter than air vehicle whose shape is maintained by the pressure of the gases within its envelope. It's just like you, Tommy.
Fair enough.
Pressure maintained by the gases within your envelope.
Yep. We better cut this minute short so I can release the gases from my envelope.
Oh,
That is, you know what? It is kind of fascinating because they have, like, I guess it's your understanding, like a Zeppelin has like a frame.
yeah, it has like a big metal
Yeah.
frame. And we'll actually see that. And there's a deleted
Yeah.
scene where you would have seen a lot more of it.
And apparently, it's a Zeppelin is a rigid airship manufactured by a particular company, which was the Luftschiffbau. Please help me,
The
Doris.
Led Zeppelin company.
The Zeppelin. Yeah, it was a specific company.
Oh, so Zeppelin is like Kleenex? It's like a brand name that's been
Yeah.
co-opted?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Or like Xerox. Yeah,
funny.
yeah, Kleenex. Yeah, and it was founded by Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin.
Oh, that's the best name.
That is. My God.
Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. Yeah.
And they built them all in Friedrichshafen. And this movie inspired me so much. I once made a trip out of my way to go to the Zeppelin Museum in Friedrichshafen, where they built them.
Oh, cool.
And you
Wow.
can go and they have like the interior of the compartments, like where Indy and Henry are later.
Oh, wow.
And you can actually walk around inside, and they look fairly similar,
Cool.
which is pretty cool. And it's inside the old hangars, so they're these giant buildings.
Nice.
So was commercial Zeppelin travel a thing, for like any long period of time?
Yeah,
Really?
but
Okay.
never in Berlin, which is interesting.
Oh, weird.
Oh,
But from Friedrichshafen and Frankfurt, you could fly to the U.S. and you could fly to South America.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
That would be really cool.
yeah.
I bet that's fun.
But they stopped.
Totally.
And I mean, more evidence that this is an alternate reality. They stopped flying after the Hindenburg disaster in 1937. So there were no Zeppelins
Ah.
flying in 1938.
Oh, wow.
Passenger ones. Yeah.
Weird. Well, now that history has been rewritten, I guess it's time to end this minute, right, Jerry?
Well, speaking of going down in flames,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
this just in from Professor Christy Porter. What if you were called to be in an Indiana Jones movie, but you had to be Hitler?
if you were Michael Schur, you'd say, again? Fine. Gets his mustache out of his sock drawer.
Would you? I guess you know what I have to say. I would do it.
Oh, I would definitely do
I
it.
feel like as long as I would do it. I'd get the little pencil mustache and say, "Where's Indy?
Yeah.
Where's Harrison
Let me at
Ford?
him.
Yeah, where's the Indiana Jones cups, the free swag?"
I feel like I would have taken some of the gravitas out of that scene if I had played it. Though I don't think I would have been cast well as Hitler.
Hi, Hitler. How you doing?
Hey, it's me. It's me, Adolf Hitler.
Aw,
Sign your book.
please do.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be sitting there with like, you complete the scene and you sign it, and then you go, wait, Indy, can you sign my book too?
In the same place. Well, we've done 71. Bless us all. Ryan,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us. This has been awesome.
No problem. It is always so super fun. Thanks for having me.
I think you should come back tomorrow. That's what I think.
Well, if I have to. Legally, I'm obligated.
Yeah, you signed the things. We've got you now.
All right.
Is there anything you want the people to know about you?
Sure. I make video games, Jackbox Games, with many, many talented folks. We're putting out the Jackbox Party Pack 5 this fall, including the return of You Don't Know Jack, one of our
Nice.
long-running trivia question franchises. Yeah, it's going to be real fun. So definitely pick that up this probably October-ish. We're shooting for then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Hello from the Magic Tavern is the podcast I produce, and it's very funny.
It is. We love that show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
Thanks. I just needed this. I didn't get a lot of validation today. I just needed that
see?
shot.
That's why you're here. And listen, everybody out there in podcast land, you should all come back here tomorrow for more of this Berlin fun for minute 72 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
That's the sound of a lighter than air ship flying silently
Yeah.
through the breeze.
Yeah, they're real smooth.
The sound of Tommy's gaseous envelope.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you heard that? I was trying to keep it down.
Sorry about my semi-rigid frame. You guys. Take care of that.